to get back to the property tax caps, just one of the I don't want to say criticisms, but I guess it is a criticism that some local government officials kind of throw out there once in a while is that the only way that they have outside of property taxes to raise any sort of income is through the county option income tax. And yet, as we've seen here lately with the downturn in the economy, that can make that such a volatile source of revenue. Do you think that maybe that's something that needs to be looked at before?
Well, I think that, I mean, I'm willing to look at anything, but I'm not willing to look at where we're just increasing additional taxes on the public. I think that, I keep getting asked that, well, what are you going to do next year? And I said, I'm going to fight for a balanced budget, and I'm going to fight for absolutely no tax increases. I mean, now, is that going to be possible? I'm only one of 150. I don't know how many others are going to feel that way, but I think the mood of our country, the mood of our district, and the mood of our state and our local here is no new taxes. And so hopefully we're going to get the economy to recover so that we don't have to do any more tightening of the belts, but rather we're able to get ourselves back on somewhat of a economic going forward growth. And that. But when people talk about they don't have enough money for government, we had to do major cuts in the state. We had to do it, and I think local government has to look at it. And maybe we can't do all of the great things that we've been able to do for, the public. And I'm not sure what those are, but that's what we elect officials to do, is make decisions on what we can only afford to do based upon the income that we have. Otherwise, it's just a matter of going out and just keep raising taxes, and we can keep spending more and more every year. Public doesn't want that. I think a lot of government officials don't want that, and especially elected officials like myself. I don't want more taxes.
Let's talk about casinos. And that's I think it's kind of a dead issue at this point, but where did you weigh in as far as bringing a casino to this area?
Well, I was opposed to it, and I'll tell you why. Several years ago, when they were trying to do the West Baden and the French Lick casino, I chaired public policy at that time, and I held up that bill from ever coming to the Senate. And the reason I did is I never voted for a casino. I did vote for the lottery. I admit that, and I never realized, by the way, when I did that it was going to open it up to full casino gaming. But when we created the boats, we created something, and boy, it was great because the state pulls in hundreds of millions of dollars. The reason that I did not want to do the French Lick casino was because I knew that there is a limit to how much money people will spend on gaming, whether they come here or not. There's a limit to it. Everybody kept telling me, no, there's not. No, there's not. Well, what happened was French Lick went on board, and French Lick negatively impacted Astar down in Evansville on the amount of money, because people, instead of driving down to Evansville, would just go to French Lick. Then a couple of years ago, we had the big issues to come up for racinos. We had one at Anderson and one at Shelbyville. Now, the sole purpose of putting in racinos was to help the horse industry. That's the way it was portrayed. And I argued at that time, all you're going to do is start shifting money. So now what's happened is Anderson has taken away the people from Fort Wayne now go to Anderson rather than going to Michigan City. The people at Shelbyville that go to game now are taking it away from French Lick. All we're doing is we're shuffling money around. And now we've got Ohio, which is going to establish full-blown casinos in Toledo, in Columbus, in Cincinnati, in Cleveland. We've got 2 new ones that are up in Michigan that are Indian-based casinos. We're talking Chicago. Mayor Daley wants a casino up there so bad. So what's going to happen to the fact that the state of Indiana is relying on this $600, $700, $800 million that we now have when this money keeps disappearing? The economy is down, so are our funds that we're getting out of gaming. What's going to happen in the future? And people, when we talk about putting a casino here, would it help us? Oh, it might bring in money for a while, but then for what? I mean, it's just there's no table games that are going to be allowed here. So I just felt that, first of all, the expansion of gaming is, if somebody wants, I'm not opposed to people that want to go to Vegas, want to go to one of our boats. I don't care if they do that. I've gone to Vegas myself. Now, when I go out there, I like to go out there for the shows. It isn't just a gamble. But if people want to gamble, that's fine. But I don't think when you shove it in front of them like this, that people are, that it's going to be anything really advantageous for our community in the long run. And I definitely don't think it'll be advantageous for the state in the long run. So and I was opposed to it. And if it would have happened, it wouldn't have been because of my vote, because I would not have voted for it.
I'll share with you the first time I ever went to the Capitol building down in Indianapolis. We went into the House chamber, and we were sitting at some of the legislators' desks, and I happened to pick up a pen to write myself a note, and I get ready to put the pen down, and it was from, I can't remember exactly if it was from the Casino Association of Indiana. We get up, we walk out to the lobby, and there's a poster of all the legislators and individual legislators, their pictures, and at the bottom it was sponsored by the Indiana Casino Association or whatever it was, the lobbying group down there, and it just kind of made me laugh. And sitting in on some of the gaming committee sessions that I did last year, you just kind of wonder about the whole dependence on that revenue stream.
Well, we do. I mean,
yeah.
When I'm talking, you're talking.
Sure.
I don't know whether it's $700 or $800 million now. I'm going to have to look and see what it is, because I know it's down this year. But that's money that, if nobody would gamble and we lost that money, what would we do for that $800 million? We'd have to come back and raise taxes. And so, I'm not opposed to, if people want to gamble, that's what they can do. But I don't believe the expansion of gaming is good for our state. I think that it gives us a reliance on it that's really not really trustworthy, because if the economy does go down like it has and we lose that money, where are we making it up? That might be some of the money that we didn't give to schools because we have it shuffled somewhere else, that money that we get from gaming. I don't know, but I know it's significant. So
let me just ask you this, throw this out there and see what your opinion is. One of the things that was talked about last year during the gaming study committee sessions was the fact that if they allowed a casino to come to Fort Wayne, that it would probably have to be a land-based casino, which would then open up the whole can of worms about leveling the playing field, because now Fort Wayne would have this ability to put a casino anywhere, and that would really require almost a change in the entire system and the laws.
And that same argument is what was because of French Lick. Mm-hmm. Because if you go down to French Lick, it's pretty obvious that that's not on some major waterway, or and that was the argument that casinos did at that time when the state ended up allowing French Lick. So I just to me it's a matter of the center of excellence. It's a matter of taking the defense industry. It's a matter of doing anything we can. I'm the champion of I created the Motorsports Caucus for the state of Indiana. And by the way, we have, I think, about 90 legislators who are part of it too. People don't understand what that is. We have over 3,000 businesses in our state that are motorsports related. If you're a NASCAR fan like I am, every one of those NASCAR sprint cars have a CNR racing radiator made in Indianapolis, Indiana. Every one of those nationwide cars have a CNR racing. We've got companies in Lafayette. We've got companies all around Indianapolis. We've got companies up here that are involved in racing. And what can we do to improve that? Because that takes some real technical people. It doesn't take just somebody. I'm not talking about a guy that has no talents at all. I'm talking about engineers. I'm talking about technicians, and all of these things. If we can do something, North Carolina's got a big push on for doing that because of NASCAR. We should be the motorsports capital of the world. We got the Indy, we got O'Reilly, we got the drags, we got all of these things, and we got the businesses here. what can we do to encourage or help them grow so that we're creating more jobs? I mean, that's just one of the things. And I think the number of people that are involved in it, when I talked about the caucus, is because of maybe their interest in racing is also what encourages them to try to help. But it's a legitimate business where people are manufacturing things. And of course, as long as there's wrecks in NASCAR, they'll keep manufacturing them. So I guess maybe that's not a bad idea either. But no, I just, you know, I grew up in the inner city of Fort Wayne, all right? And I ended up starting my career at General Electric as an apprentice toolmaker. And so, you know, when I see what advantages I had because of that, when I see what kind of an income I would have made if I was still a toolmaker, when I see that by getting more education and the fact that I was able to go into marketing and what I was able to do, these are the kind of things I want to do for the same kind of kids that grew up where I did, or the kids that are there today. Is be able to go and say, I have done something to make it so that your life is going to be better for you than it was for your parents. Unfortunately, with what's happening around today, you know, I don't know that my kids can necessarily say that. I think that they're doing all right, but it's maybe because two people are working now or whatever else. But we don't have the GEs, we don't have the Harvesters, we don't have the Magnavoxes, we don't have the Danas. All of these were things that allowed people like myself to make sure that I was going to be able to be, quote, middle income. I was going to be able to send my children to college. I was going to be able to have niceties in life. And that's what I want for the others down there too. You know, when you look at my district, I go from the lowest census data tract income in the state to $1 million homes in my district. And you know something? I never forget where I was born and raised, and I never forget where I live today. It's not $1 million house, but I have to represent all of the people. And I do, and I'm proud to do it. I still believe that this is the greatest thing I've ever done. It's the most meaningful thing I've ever done in my work life, is to be a state senator and to represent the people and to do the things and to try to do better. I'll continue to do that. And hopefully if they give me 4 more years, I'll have at least 4 more years to do it.
Stop there if you need to.